Hey, did you know we have a Patreon where you can directly help support the show? Patreon.com/whatweremember. Sign up and join such amazing people as Stephanie O, Sandy and Paul J, Nathan E, Jacqueline M, Matthew J, Sarah P, aka Situational Daddy on Instagram, and Big Time Jim. Thanks. Why did they just get really quiet all of a sudden?
We're in the library.
Are we in the library? Like from Ghostbusters with all the ghosts?
Like from Page Master with all the books?
What's your favorite library film? Transformers 2?
That counts as a library film?
They run through a library at some point. Indiana Jones? He
he does go to
libraries.
Last
I'm
Crusade,
really into the librarian. Has anyone ever said that?
No, my mom
Music
said it
Man.
one time.
The Music Man's all about a librarian.
The Music Man's a jerk.
Well, yeah,
He
that's
is.
the whole point.
He
He's
is.
like a con man.
I don't like him. He's a swindler. Yeah, swindler is that's the perfect term.
For the time.
He's a bamboozler.
Ooh.
I don't like him.
a boozer, too.
If you see the Music Man, you tell him to get to stepping.
You'd be like, you know what, Music Man, I will play some pool, okay? Get out of here.
You know what you could do with 76 trombones? Shove them up. Yes! You don't have to bleep that.
You got it.
I'd watch that. It's a short movie.
Yeah.
They just tell him to get out of town.
Well,
He's like, all right,
it's
next
not that
place, I
short.
guess.
It's 76 trombones. So it's going to take a minute.
It's gonna take some time to
It's
get.
going to take at least
Take a little time.
a minute per. So it's a good run time, if you ask me.
Talk about blowing it out your ass. My name is Bradley Jones.
Wow. My name is Andrew Moltenhauer.
I'm Andy Hubert.
It's not a movie review podcast. It's a podcast where we try to talk about a movie we haven't seen in a very long time. One of the movies that exists that, I remember that film. And this is what we remember about Jaws.
Were there 2 or 3 bad guys in Home Alone? And who was that forgetful fish in Finding Nemo? Join us as we're watching films. See what we remember and what memories we kill. Let's start the show. Here we go. This is what we remember. I want to sing the theme so bad. Wait, that's like
I guess it just
Mario?
fades into
Twilight Zone.
Or Twilight Zone.
Twilight Zone? Yeah.
You've seen the movie recently.
I've seen the movie like 3 to 4 years ago, and it was actually the first time actually watching the movie.
This movie's been out for 45 years.
Happy
Whoa.
anniversary.
Wow.
Spielberg.
First big blockbuster.
Steven Spielberg.
Yep.
Yeah, this
blew it out of the
this
water.
started the blockbuster movie.
Started it. Yep.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't
The summer
a thing
blockbuster.
before,
No,
or
people
what?
didn't care about movies in the way that they do.
in the summertime.
Yeah.
Or just in general.
They didn't really have
In
the
general,
seasonal
really.
releases. It wasn't really a thing so much either at the time. This invented
Yeah.
the summer blockbuster. Yeah.
So we're like valuing like the studio making a ton of money.
I guess. I mean, the story of them making this movie is really interesting.
Oh my
because
gosh.
It
It sounds
genuinely,
awful.
it sounds insane. Like the studio
like-
is like, sure, we'll give like a bunch of 30-somethings millions of dollars to make some crazy idea movie. Why
Spend
not?
like half a year trying to make a movie.
Yeah.
In the water. That sounds like a
with
lot of work.
with a robot?
I don't want to do that.
No.
And the robot doesn't work half
No,
the
it doesn't
time.
even work.
Did you guys ever watch Steven Spielberg's documentary on HBO? It's just called Spielberg. It's amazing.
I need to watch that. That
It's
sounds really
amazing.
cool.
He basically just like got a job just by like finding a way to wander on the
I did hear
on
about
the
that.
studio
He like
lot.
found an empty office. It's
And he just started working
It's
out
what
of
they
there.
parody in Arrested Development with Maybe, where she like just sits at a desk and answers the phone
Right,
and gets a job.
right.
They basically said he just found an empty office and like set up shop in there, and everyone just assumed he worked there for a while.
Yeah, but then he I think he dropped out of college and used all of his money to make that Amblin short that eventually a studio did buy and got him onto a contract.
Duel.
Duel so good. Oh wow!
I already got to get a
Strong
bleep in.
feelings.
I'm telling you, that movie is like
I've never seen it.
Oh
It's Jeepers Creepers-esque.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
Big
wanna
creepy
watch
truck.
it.
it's a little bit of Joyride too.
It was a made-for-TV film.
I'll watch this. I'm gonna do it.
It's fun.
There are very
It's a
few.
guy being chased by a car for like
I'm
70
down
minutes.
for that.
There are very few
go watch
few
Christine or
movies
something.
where I will watch them like back to back and watch it.
Watch it
and,
again.
and
To
watch
back,
it
to
again.
back, to back.
Yeah, Terminator, RoboCop,
Basketball.
Duel,
Oh.
Dirty Dancing.
Dirty, Diddly Dancing.
We're on the record on that one.
It's a different one.
Well, we're
So,
talking about Jaws.
Yeah, let's do what we normally do.
Oh,
Let's
yeah.
check
Andy
in on the-
Hubert. Who stars in this film?
Oh,
'Cause Andy Hubert always does that
this is
every-
my classic
every
bit
movie.
where I talk, I got to talk about Matthew Broderick in this, and
yep,
Jonathan
he's in
Taylor
this.
Thomas being in this one.
Matt
real big.
McConaughey.
Oh, Matthew McConaughey's real
Wait.
good. Breakout role with Steve Zahn. Really funny guy.
Look
Loved
at these
it.
people were born yet.
What? But Steve Zahn
Think
and
about Sahara?
Yes,
I know. I
talking
was
about
like,
Sahara.
really?
I love that movie, and I'm sad they didn't
Oh.
make the sequels.
You're bringing up a classic game that we haven't played in a long
That's
time,
true,
where
yeah.
you name actors
Yeah.
with a group of people to try and
Who
get
can get
someone to
the- who
guess,
can figure out the movie
guess
first.
The movie.
Yep.
Yeah,
That
it's
is a fun game.
So fun.
Oh my gosh, that is a good one.
John Leguizamo, Ray
pest.
Romano, Dennis Leary.
Ice
Ref?
Age 2.
Oh, it is. It might be
Queen
Ice Age 2.
Latifah.
Queen Latifah.
It is actually.
Yeah.
That became the running joke.
It became
Everyone
a-
just
yeah,
did
back when we
Ice
used to
Age
play this all
too.
the time. Oh man.
I never saw an Ice Age film.
No?
No,
Them four of them, and I don't know what happens in any of them.
I think
the
the
Ice
first-
Age?
The first two are
Melted.
both pretty good.
Does it happen 4 times?
Yeah, I mean,
didn't it?
They got Ice Age 4 times?
I think it
maybe.
melted.
Yeah, at some point it's got to melt, right? You know?
Right. Move on.
I know
Yeah.
like there's a little squirrel chasing like a nut the whole time.
Yep.
All right,
fun.
so let's talk about the actors in this
Okay.
movie.
Yeah.
We got Roy Schneider.
Uh-huh.
Schneider. What's crap?
You were about to
what's
say
the guy's-
Dustin Hoffman, weren't you?
No, I lost his name.
Kippendorf's Tribe.
What was his name? Richard.
Frederick Douglass.
Richard Dreyfuss.
Richard Dreyfuss.
All right.
And then the sea captain is some famous guy that
Yeah,
I don't know. But
I don't
people know him because
The mom, I don't really
people my
know
dad's
either.
age know that.
I
actor,
think
'cause he's
the
in a ton
mayor
of
was
stuff.
somebody too, right?
The mayor's not really anybody.
I
He didn't
thought it
look
was.
too familiar.
Roy Scheider's wife is somebody. She comes back in like the 4th film.
Yeah, but she, in my mind, she kind of looks like the same wife in Apollo 13.
Yeah, but she kind of
Blonde
serves a
hair,
similar role.
Oh, is
Almost,
she blonde?
Too.
I think so.
Oh, you might be right. I think I'm just thinking of the the mom from Apollo 13.
Was there a shark in Apollo 13?
Probably
A sky shark.
That's what blew up the capsule, right? It just bit it. It was like
just right in
space shark.
I gotta see that film.
Space shark.
let's make
Space
that
whale.
movie.
The movie starts with a sexy lady in a bikini who gets eaten.
That's
Yes.
Oh,
true.
It's all dark and
I
she gets
only
bit.
ever remember the mafia joke. Remember Mafia, the movie?
I don't remember. Corker Romano.
I remember. I do know what you're talking about. Yeah, I do.
I know
the
that
movie
movie exists.
Mafia with Jay Moore.
Leslie Nielsen.
No, it's Jay Moore and Leslie. No,
Leslie Nielsen.
something Bridges. Lloyd Bridges.
Bridges.
Bridges, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
the senior Bridge. Jeff Bridges' dad. Mm-hmm. Anyway, the joke is that the fish grabs her and takes her around, but then eventually pleasures her.
Ooh, like a dolphin would.
Yeah, and she gets off.
Ace Ventura also spoofed it.
Did they?
They
same
watched this?
kind of joke. But in this, is it the girl that gets eaten
Yeah.
and the guy? The guy doesn't though.
I don't think so.
No, yeah, it's just the man.
And it's like the feet dangling
Underwater
and you
shot.
see like the camera of the shark.
We get a lot of
coming
shark
up.
vision.
Shark vision's all over.
This opening scared the crap out of me. as
It's a
kid.
spooky opening.
It terrified.
There's the sound of the
absolutely-
buoy still like dangling. Like I still get kind of creeped out by the sound of a buoy.
Like the suspense you get. I don't know.
And it's like kind of green too. Like
Yeah,
the
the water's
color
not, like,
correction
super
is like
clear, yeah.
greenish
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
blackish and
Scary music.
yeah.
Is this
score
where you get the theme
works on
already?
this.
There's like hints of it. It's like a different theme. It's like an underwatery theme, not like this scary Jaws theme.
So that happens with the opening credits, and And I'm assuming the next scene is like mayor and people like coming together like, okay, there was a shark attack.
I don't know if she's
on the beach.
I don't know if she goes like missing right away. I think they're like looking for her and they're not quite sure.
Yeah, she goes. I think that's what it is because she's way far out swimming away from the beach, so they didn't realize. I feel like, and then until her leg washes up or something, and that's when they're like,
yeah, a
what?
little kid finds a body part maybe.
And they try to hush it up, don't they? They try like the
Oh,
mayor is like
probably.
worried about the tourism.
Yes.
So
yeah, the mayor's like, well, we can't tell people that there's sharks here. Then it's
the big
summertime.
event is happening.
oh, the big summer festival time.
can't cancel
We'll lose a bunch of money. Mm-hmm. Just try and take care of the shark. Is Roy Schneider a cop?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the local
Yeah.
sheriff.
Local sheriff.
I believe. I think he's the sheriff. I don't think he might be police chief.
I
Maybe
think he has an
he's the sheriff.
aversion to water. I could be totally wrong.
I feel like you're right about that. Like he hasn't been out on a boat in a long time.
Yeah.
Like he had some traumatic event as a kid or something, maybe, and he just doesn't like the water.
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Maybe,
He's-
maybe
but
that's
he
not even
lives
brought
like
up
right
a
by
lot.
the water. I think.
He does.
I think
Yeah.
his house is
You
like
want to be on the
beach-
water. It's just
beachfront.
nice. Yeah, good property values. Come on.
He rolls around in a
all
sweet
right, that's
truck a
fair.
lot of the time. I know that much.
Yeah.
Shooing that riffraff off the beach who were up to no good. Skinny
Right.
dipping and doing the drugs and
Now he's
smoking
got
the alcohol.
he's got two young-ish kids, maybe like 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
12.
They
Is it
show up in the
son and a
sequels.
daughter, or is I
Two
think
sons.
I think it's I don't know. They don't really play a part though, I don't think. I think the only role that they play is that he's worried that his kids might be
Yeah.
attacked.
I think one of the kids is like playing in the water at some point.
yeah, and he
it's
has like a super panic attack about it.
flopping around its little kid arms. Can't
well,
get back
there
to
is
the
the
inside.
scene where the kid does actually get attacked in the water. He's like out on a floaty, and there's the ant, and the ant's like, "Go out and play in the water."
Yeah.
And he's just like, "Okay," and he's like swimming out, and like you cut between like Roy Schneider, he's like on a lawn chair, like reading a book, and then the ant's doing something, then the kid's in the water, and it's like cutting around a lot, and then all of a sudden you just see, bam, just like shark just takes him out. And I
there
think
a-
that's where that you get that like zoom pan shot.
Oh,
yeah, the
yeah,
big
on the
push.
beach. It's
Yeah.
a big moment.
That is
Yeah,
a big moment.
It's like the second attack or like
Yeah, does the shark
first
get like some
confirmed
nighttime
attack?
fishermen or anything like that? Like, do they he knocks over a boat or something?
They find one later that I
think
think
that
they
sh-
imply
that shark
Jaws
kills-
took out.
Quite a few people, I thought, before they go after it. Even
There might. I wonder if there's maybe like a background of saying like, "Hey, I don't know what happened. Like Roy's been missing for like a few days. He went out on a fishing trip and never came
Could have
back
been
or something."
Could be, yep. Or maybe there's like some missing
because there is
missing
there-
posters behind him.
There is my second most terrifying scene, which does happen later, which does involve a shipwreck.
Are you talking about at the very end of the movie?
No, or before that.
okay.
This is like halfway.
I'm also getting confused with the other Jaws films 'Cause I have seen every Jaws.
Yeah,
film.
you
Oh, that's
recently
not
watched
good.
all the sequels.
I
and-
haven't watched any of the other ones.
It's not worth
I don't
it.
know if I've
Oh,
seen any of the
no.
sequels. I don't think so. I think I've only seen the
don't
first
do
one.
it. Don't do it. Not even for curiosity's sake. Don't do it.
But
Not even the Michael Caine one?
You can see that one if you want to, but it's not great.
yeah, I feel like in the second beach scene or something, it's he has warned. He told the mayor that the mayor's being ridiculous and that it's not good. And then he has like a panic attack with his kid, and everyone thinks he's being ridiculous because he freaks out in the middle of the beach, runs in, gets his kid out, and is
Yep.
like, "Don't go to the water."
Yeah.
and then everyone's fine still on the beach, and that's when the other kid gets eaten.
In broad daylight?
Yeah, it's
Oh, it's broad daylight,
and this is
yeah.
another one where like that kid
Because
gets
everybody's
pulled
at
under,
the beach this time. It
and
happens.
it's just like foam blood water everywhere.
Whoa. Awesome.
Yeah. And I think they're trying to speculate like why the shark's coming up close to shore. Mm-hmm. I don't really know if that plays a big role.
Yeah.
But the sharks deliberately come in to eat people.
They bring in like shark experts. I think Richard Dreyfuss is one
He
of them.
is, yep.
And they're going
an
over
oceanographer,
They're
I
like
think.
comparing like bite marks and like trying to figure out what shark it is. And is there a moment in this film where they catch a shark, but it's like the wrong shark? Like another fisherman like brings in
They
like
think they think they got it because
yeah.
another
But then
fisherman
they
caught,
compare
like,
bite marks and they're not the same.
So
kind
they
of
realize
thing.
it's like a tiny shark. They're like, "There's no way that was the shark. Like
Mm-hmm.
the shark has to be enormous." And that's they're like, based on the tooth or whatever, he's got to be at least this big.
The-
Well, they could also probably cut it open. Like maybe they do that in the
I
scene.
think
They
you're
cut it
right.
open because there should be like
Yeah,
if it was a scuba diver, there'd be like a maybe oxygen tanker in there or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
yeah.
So maybe they don't even find anything when they cut it open. It's just fish and
A license plate,
a license plate,
the classic cut open a shark. Move.
someone's cell phone.
I bet that's the classic
Like,
cut
hey,
open a
this came out
shark
in the
move because of
70s.
this movie.
There's a part where it's like on a table and they're dissecting it. Like they're going through the whole shark, and there's like shark anatomy stuff everywhere.
Okay.
I could be making.
They
that
take it
up.
to like Richard Dreyfuss's place.
Yes,
and he's-
Yeah.
because he's like an oceanographer or something, right? Marine biologist.
I think marine
Or
biologist.
as a photographer?
No, I think he's a marine biologist.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I think like the last scene, it's like the sheriff, marine biologist, and some like piratey
And
type
the
guy.
pirate
He's like
fisherman.
a seafarer man. He's like always on the sea.
The
like,
scallywag.
He's
Yeah,
a
like
seaman waiting in the sky.
in the sky.
He can't even touch the ground, or he'll just like disintegrate. He always has to be on a boat out in the sea. I haven't seen land in over 50 years.
He's a seafaring man.
I fight sharks fairly.
Now, there's a bit I feel like where the marine biologist and Richard Dreyfuss they go out on like a smaller boat.
Wait, the marine biologist is Richard Dreyfuss.
Oh, sorry, you're right. The sheriff and Richard
Maybe he
Dreyfuss.
has like a coworker. I don't know.
Because the two of them like rent a smaller boat and head out on that, and they do find like a shipwreck and they scuba dive at it.
Oh,
I think I remember the scene that you're
And
talking
this is
about.
the scene that scared the bejesus out of me.
Because the shark kind of shows up outside the...
No, you think he's gonna because they're just diving in the water and you're like they're gonna get eaten.
So
So
they're
they're just
doing-
swimming around. It's at
doing
night. They're
shark
doing a
cam.
night dive.
is Roy Schrader still on the boat, or does he go scuba too? Because I feel like he's scared.
I think he is
I think he's on the boat, and it's the marine biologist guy that goes.
Richard
scuba
Dreyfuss wears a
diving.
wetsuit a few times in the film.
Yeah.
Sure.
He's all about wearing
He
that
goes
wetsuit.
diving and he's investigating this like sunken fishing boat at night with a light, and they find like a giant hole missing out of the side, which is like is implied it's a bite. And as he's looking at it, a freaking body flies out of the hole and scares everyone. And I cried as a kid. it was
Shouldn't have
horrifying.
been watching this as a
Yeah, I
kid.
kind of hope you cry again. I hope you see this. You see the scene.
I'm gonna
forget that
rewatch
it's
this
about to
movie,
happen.
and I'm never gonna go scuba diving again, which
Yeah.
is a tragedy because I do enjoy it.
That's a whole other conversation of like how badly this scared people.
I
getting
understand
out
why
of
it
the ocean.
did. Yes. For years, I never was like, why would I even bother swimming in
There's a
the
shark
ocean?
there. Why
The
would I go
shark's
out?
there.
Yeah, the shark's everywhere. You put your foot in the water, and it's a
like-
shark that just bites it.
I live in Michigan. We have tons of water and no sharks. That's the best. Why wouldn't we do that instead?
That's like when I was going to the ocean in Savannah, Georgia, and there were like a bunch of dead jellyfish just all over the place.
Oh my
gosh,
and they're
yeah.
like, well, you still can't touch them because they still might actually
Sting you real
sting
bad.
you. Yeah. And I was like, well, I don't want to go in now.
yeah.
So get someone out here and clean this up.
I'm more scared of jellyfish than
Where's
I am
the
of sharks.
beach manager?
No lifeguard. This place sucks.
Roy Schreider comes out of the background of his truck, scoops up the jellyfish.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Thanks, sir. Thank you.
But he's passed away. It's like the last 10
Roy,
years or so.
yeah.
Yeah.
So he did a lot of really interesting movies.
And Sequest. Couldn't get out of that ocean, that guy.
Sequest?
It was a TV show like Star Trek, but in the water.
Yeah.
What?
You never
It
saw
was in the
Sequest at
90s.
all?
It was super
No.
sweet. It was
Oh,
great.
it was good.
What?
There was like mysterious Atlantis people.
Oh,
and
no.
It was like it was
Adventures.
the
It was Star Trek.
It was basically Stargate almost, but in the water. But yeah, kind of.
They had a ship?
Both. Yeah.
Stargate, I never understood.
It's a weird franchise.
I don't even know the plot of Stargate. I've seen the movie at least 4 times.
You don't need to know. Didn't we do it on this podcast
No.
or something?
No.
You don't need to know. It's just
There's
Roland Emmerich
pharaohs
trying to make
and-
his own Star Wars is all it is. It's very clearly him trying to set up his own sci-fi.
There's been a lot of action not really
franchise.
happening and me not understanding the villain's motivation. That's the big problem with Stargate. I understand the shark's motivation in this film.
Yeah, right?
Wants to eat people.
Yeah, he's an eating
He's
machine.
gotta feed that belly.
He's enormous. He's got to eat like 1 million calories just to keep up, right?
Is that true?
That's right, yeah.
Feels right.
And once he gets a taste of that human blood,
I mean-
bloodlust is a real thing.
Michael Phelps is smaller than that shark, and he has to eat like 2,000 calories an hour or something, right? I mean, I gotta believe that shark's eating a ton all the time.
Well, it's only like eating part of a corpse because you find that one in the scary shipwreck.
Yeah,
So
that's
maybe he
true.
just likes specific parts of the human anatomy.
he likes causing the terror too. He's in it
Oh
for the
yeah,
thrill.
he
you know?
feeds off of it.
Way to go,
That-
meanie.
that's his real
mean
strength.
shark.
But I like sharks in general.
Meanie shark doo 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 doo. Wait, can we say that?
I think sharks are magical creatures, and they've been around for so long.
They're they're ancient.
Terrible shark fishermen just like cut their fins off and
Man.
throw them back in the water, and I get bummed out.
We're gonna have to go watch Megalodon after this. The Meg.
No, we don't have to do that.
No, we're gonna watch Orca, the killer whale.
Ooh, there we go.
There were a lot of spin-offs of
Yeah,
creature
Orca.
movies
Orca's the one.
from Jaws.
Yeah.
Piranha.
That's true. Piranha. Yeah.
Even like in the 90s, we got to do Anaconda. We got to get Lake Placid going.
Lake Placid.
Lake Placid.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, it's terrible.
It's like a 60-minute movie, though.
It is.
Ooh, so bad.
Peter Benchley's the Beast. was about like a squid.
Oh, it's getting worse.
Yeah.
It's slowly turning into the asylum.
Was the Jaws book very big? I remember.
I don't know.
I don't know if people talk about that or not. Because I know Jurassic Park was like a giant success as a book before it was a film, even.
Is this a movie then became a book, or
No.
you're saying it's a book then it was a movie?
Peter Benchley's Jaws.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I've never read it.
Maybe
I've
I'll
never read it.
Maybe I'll read Jaws within the week.
That'd
Who
be
knows?
fun.
If it's a short one.
Yeah.
Take a bite out of it, you know?
Ooh.
Take a real chunk out of it. Something to stick my teeth into.
Hey, there it is.
You got all of the puns. You took them all.
Rapid fire.
Ain't that the tooth? One too many. So when are we going to get to the point where that old pirate man, Roy Schreider, and Richard Dreyfuss go out to hunt the shark? There's still some stuff to happen.
I think
Roy
they have to
Schreider's
get the
gonna-
have a
mayor
town
on board
meeting. Yeah.
to shut down the beach.
He gets voted down because the mayor wants that money.
Yeah.
And then I think another person gets 8. Then they have to shut it down.
Maybe like the mayor's son almost gets bit or something
I
like
feel
that.
like that's the case. Like someone's son genuinely gets, I don't know, maybe.
I think that whole
I think with the
event's
kid,
still going to happen, isn't it? Isn't it the whole purpose? Or did that event get canceled?
maybe even the boy was the one that we're talking about. Like when he got eaten. Maybe there was someone before that even.
Maybe
It's hard to keep track of the
I don't
kills
know.
of this
Maybe
film.
is the mayor being like, fine, I'll shut the beach down, but only for like this many days or something.
You
we
have
can
3 days
We
to
can
catch the
say it's
shark.
for something else. Like we're getting ready for something, so we have to close it, and you have that
Yeah.
many days to
I think
kill
so.
to get rid of
There's
the
some
shark
stakes,
or
yeah.
something.
God damn it, Maverick, if you can't kill that shark in 2 days.
You're a loose cannon, but damn if you're not good at killing sharks. Get out there.
This town can't go broke.
Well, then the law's crazy.
I don't care how many bodies we lose, we're not losing that money.
Let the bodies hit the
Yeah, then they played that song.
hit the floor.
The 1974 version of that song plays, whatever that would be.
Yeah. Oh man. So that's where, and at the town meeting is where we get the iconic, hook on the chalkboard, whatever, where he scrapes it. Everyone hates the noise and stops and looks, and he's just like, "Yar, I'm a stereotypical boat captain. I'll kill the shark for you."
Yeah, he's got a parrot on his
Yeah,
shoulder.
price.
Yes.
You all know me, know how I earn a living. I'll catch this bird for you, but it ain't gonna be easy. It's bad fish. Not like going down the pond chasing bluegills or tommy carps. This shark, swallow you whole. Shaking, tenderizing, down you go. And we gotta do it quick. That'll bring back the tourists. That'll put all your businesses on a paying basis. But it's not gonna be pleasant. I value my neck a lot more than $3,000, Chief. I'll find him for 3, but I'll catch him and kill him for 10.
He's like going rogue. He's just throwing it out there like, I could do this.
He's a bounty hunter.
Yeah. Basically,
He's a gun
he's like,
for
"I'll
hire.
do it.
Oh, gun
I've got
for
a." He's like,
hire.
"I've got a boat. I've got guns. Let's do it."
Does he have like a shark tooth necklace or like a shark tooth that he like? Is he scrapes it with a shark tooth?
Ooh.
Probably,
Well, he's
right?
got
That
he's
could
got
be
a
good.
big shark bite, right? Didn't like a shark take his
Missing
leg,
his leg or
or
something.
take his
Oh,
foot?
that'd be
or,
fun.
Maybe. Yeah.
I think because there's a scene that is kind of ad libbed. That's
I know
really
which- yeah, I
important.
know which one you're talking
where
about,
they're
yeah.
all the night before
On the boat.
On the boat, they're all drinking, and it's just a.
They're finally connecting almost as characters because they've all kind of been antagonistic towards each
Yeah,
other.
they
the
don't
whole
like
time.
each other that
No,
much.
they
Even
really
like Richard
don't.
Dreyfuss and Roy Schreider like started off as
Yeah.
enemies a little
Right,
bit.
because
Well,
Richard Dreyfuss is like, he's the academic. He's like,
Yep.
"Ugh, none of you understand
He's the
this
smarty
majestic creature
pants.
guy or something. Yeah.
He thinks everyone else is just like ignorant.
And yeah, they think the sheriff guy, they're like, "You're just a cop. What do you know? Why are you here?" Like, and then, yeah, the captain guy is just like, "I'm just here to kill sharks because that's what I do." But yeah, they're right. They're bonding. And they bond.
They
And
get-
they're
they get
bonding.
drunk
I
real
think they're
bad.
bonding over scars, and
Yep.
it's
Oh,
kind of
you're right,
It's
you're
kind
right.
of like chasing
Comparing
Amy.
stars. Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Yeah. So
Chasing Amy
Which
came
I
out
guess
before Jaws?
Of course, yeah. This was an homage to Chasing
Wow,
Amy.
that was a movie ahead of its time in so many ways.
Yeah.
and literally,
Wait, what are like Roy Schreider's like big scars? He got like hit with a bullet.
it could have been like maybe he's got like a story where he almost like got shot.
He got a hangnail real bad.
Oh,
Left a scar.
Fell off the playground as a kid.
So bad.
Broke my leg in 4 places.
I accidentally reached in the oven, got this burn on my hand.
Yeah.
The other guys were
And
like,
you think the one dude tops them
Paper
all
cut.
by like throwing the leg up there and being like, lost a leg, shark attack.
Right. He might be like eyeball.
Wow.
it's more and more.
It got plucked out by a crow.
Takes his head off and sets it on the table.
See this hand? No, you don't.
He's got something. He's like missing like a thumb or something like that. I don't know. It's something.
be.
It's something like maybe innocuous.
He takes like a wooden willy out of his pants and slams it on the desk.
oh
wow.
boy.
They're
like wiggles.
They're like, we get it. We understand why you're out here now.
Wait till I show you the next thing. No.
Oh, man.
Look at that. It's a bull shark. He scraped me when I was taking samples.
I got something for you. That's the thresher. You see that? Chief Thresher's tail.
Thresher? It's a shark.
You want a drink? Drink your leg?
I'll drink to your leg.
Okay, so we drink our legs.
We're at essentially the meat of the movie, which
Yeah.
is like
The last 30
third.
minutes.
Yeah, the
this
last
is the reason you come to Jaws.
the final act 3 is exactly that. Yeah.
I don't blame you if you just skip right to this part when you're
Yeah.
watching the movie. This part is so
This
good.
is
It
the
is.
part that I have
It's
rewatched.
exciting.
I have not watched the beginning of this movie except for probably the first time I saw it.
Yeah.
I've rewatched the last act of this movie. I can't tell you how many times.
It's just a bunch of setup to get them out there on the boat to hunt that shark.
It is.
And you're just getting, like, this is where we want to go.
Plus, I didn't want to see the creepy scenes of people getting eaten again.
Yep. Isn't the town called Amityville?
And something like that, but not that.
Something
Yeah.
kind of like that.
No, it's not like the Amityville Horror. It's
I
something
know.
like that,
I know.
though.
It's a little too close to that. Or,
Yeah.
I mean, well,
Yeah.
it's literally that, but it starts with an A for sure.
Something like, or an Amity. I don't know. You're not wrong.
It's close. Maybe it's-
Margaritaville.
What's it? Margaritaville?
Amity Cove or Amity Harbor.
Ooh,
maybe.
I like the Cove. That's a good one.
Anchor Bay.
There you go.
the DVD company.
This might be a clothing company. Is it a DVD
I
company?
remember them always producing Evil Dead movies, but that's all I associate Anchor Bay with.
I thought it was a clothing company. I could be wrong.
Could be.
So, okay. So at the very end, what they first do is they're throwing out like,
Chum.
Is it chum? Well, they're also throwing out like some kind of netting, I believe, or something. Because they have some rope with like
They have buoys. Once
Buoys.
they
Oh, yeah.
encounter the shark, they bring the buoys into play. I don't think they throw the buoys out until then, though. So this is before that, where they're trying to attract them. So yeah, they have
they're throwing chum.
the cops throwing chum off the boat, and he has the great line,
Why don't you come out here and try to chum some of this shit?
And the great shark pops out real quick.
That shot is so amazing because it's kind of like the angles are perfect. The way that
Yeah.
he like flips his head back into the shot.
Are these split diopters? I'm expecting some of those. Or
Maybe.
something.
That's a shot. That's a cut.
I
Yeah, I
know.
believe
Well, I'm
it's
trying to
too-
think of like
it's-
on the boat
it's-
here.
Yeah, because it's
Maybe.
got his face and the shark pops up behind. He looks, and then the next shot is like his head like.
I'm trying to
flips
remember.
back.
I feel like I remember either
Filmmaking.
some split diopters or some really
good.
fast focus pulls of like foreground to background.
Yeah, I mean, there's
some of
definitely
that.
going to be.
I'm excited
split
to. Yeah,
diopter.
I want to see. It's always fun watching. Especially with a director like Spielberg, just watching the craft, especially in a movie
It's
this
usually not
early.
his style to use split diopter, but he does use a lot of that. People going into shots. That's a very common Spielberg thing.
Both parents are
People
alive in
coming
this.
up
Not a
into
Spielberg
shots.
film. What the heck?
Well, it's a family. You know, they've got kids.
You need the absent dad.
They fail a few times trying to get the shark. They almost like don't like
Are
succeed
they
for a
trying
while.
to like spear?
They
it
wanna kill the
a couple
thing.
times. Don't they try to spear
Does
it?
Richard Dreyfuss want to like capture it? Is there like
I think
a motivation
he originally wants to
there?
put a tracker on it or something, like to keep tabs on it, maybe.
I think they do. They like shoot something in its mouth.
Because they shoot it with the buoys and then it's dragging the buoys around so they know where the shark is. That was originally the part of the
Oh,
point.
right,
of that.
right,
They
right.
They wanted to
harpoon
get it all tangled up with
Yeah,
the buoys.
I think
so
the
that
buoys
they-
like come off of it though. They end up
They-
like.
oh,
losing the
I
shark.
know.
He takes the
I
buoys.
know.
He's like he can't dive with the buoys on him, and then the shark's like, "F you, I'm going to do it anyway," and dives.
Oh, right. It shows you the power of the
yeah.
jaws.
They had to do the buoys in the movie because they couldn't shoot everything they wanted to with the shark.
Yes,
so they did it
that
for
makes sense.
visual.
That's a good way to like fake that there's a.
They talk about it in
something
the
there.
Spielberg movie that they visually added the buoys to show that the shark was out
moving around.
there.
That makes
Yeah.
sense. That's a good idea.
Smart.
I forgot about that.
Well, and they talk about what a amazing accident it was that they couldn't get this shark to work, and so they couldn't use a ton of the footage they tried to make with it, and it makes the movie work so much better because you don't see it. It's like that suspense of not seeing the killer in so many things.
But when you do see it, oh my.
Oh, yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
Well, they talk about how hard it was to even shoot the movie,
Yeah.
and so many people almost drowned while they were
Yeah.
making it. So it
There are a couple
got
of
little
versions of the
crazy.
shark, I think, too. Like different materials.
Yeah, they have like a
Because everything
top.
just gets waterlogged and gets destroyed.
Yeah.
They basically had like the top frame part, and someone like just a guy was inside it, just like scuba diving around. And then I think they had like a mechanical one, and then they
Yeah.
had a full mock-up, I believe, as well.
Right.
So they were able to use some parts of it, but I think like every step of the way they had errors with the shark. So they had to switch gears and use a lot of the fisheye lens shots that they did in
Yeah.
the movie that worked out so much better for them than actually showing the real thing. So the buoys,
Yeah.
David Bowie's.
and it's the sharks all swimming around and everything.
Yeah. And they're trying to they're running around the boat trying to like keep eyes on
Yeah.
where it's
Richard
going.
Dreyfuss ends up going in a shark tank at some point.
Yeah.
He
I
does?
think he does.
I don't remember that.
And like the shark like knocks the rope off and it like sinks or something. Because there's like a moment at the end where he just comes out of nowhere as he's alive. What, are you scared of shark tanks?
No, I was just remembering
Are you thinking of the
a
TV show Shark Tank?
video that was horrible that I shouldn't have watched, and it was bad.
I don't want to see it. Don't
No,
even
you
talk-
don't. I'm
Shark
not gonna
Week is
show
not
you.
this week.
No, it was terrible. Anyway, they're dangerous. Very much so.
The old sea captain gets eaten.
I think that they shoot the shark with a spear with a rope attached to it.
Yeah, with the buoys on it, yeah.
And it can't get away,
It pulls
so it
the ship.
Yes.
Pulls the
it starts
ship.
to pull the ship down.
and it tries to sink the ship by dragging the bottom part down.
Yeah.
There's
And
a
then
part where someone's gonna cut a
somehow-
cord, but like they can't do it, and there's like a big rush to cut a rope. Someone's foot
maybe.
gets tangled. That's
Someone's
like a
foot,
classic
oh,
scene.
someone's foot does get caught, I think.
I mean,
in
that's
the
just a
rope
classic
stuff.
scene.
Well, what happens is the shark's like dragging the boat down, and the sea captain guy is like trying to shoot it or something like that.
Yeah.
And the shark somehow is like trying to swim up onto the
He's-
boat,
yeah, the shark's
and he just
basically on
like
the back of the boat.
slides into
He
the
falls
shark's
in.
mouth
Oh, yeah.
And gets eaten.
and gets eaten.
Yep.
Nothing you can do about it.
Nothing. So he's gone.
And they're like, wow, he was the shark killer expert.
And the boat is sinking now.
Yeah, the ship is broken.
Exactly. So how do they get to the next part, which is the propane tank?
Well, it's the oxygen. It's one of the scuba tanks.
Oh, right.
And so yeah, it's part of the same thing. So it eats the captain. It's coming at the sheriff or the police chief and
Brody.
Brody.
hey,
There you go.
Hey.
nice.
And it eats one of those tanks, and he makes the connection of I could shoot the tank. So he gets the gun and shoots the air tank instead, and it explodes violently.
Does he get it first shot? Or does
I don't know. I don't think.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Oh, maybe there's a few.
Maybe.
There's a few shots.
Yeah, and it's like he's slowly kind of sliding towards the shark, and he's like, "I need to get the now or something." I don't know.
Smile.
No,
you son of a
no. The
bitch.
shark's out there swimming with
Oh.
with it in its mouth, and the shark comes back around to
ram-
come in
hit
for
the
the
to
water
do a
cannon.
ram.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's coming at him with the mouth open, and he's just like aiming that gun. He says some line.
Smile, you son of a bitch.
Is that what he says?
Yeah.
I love it.
And I don't know why I'm picturing this because it doesn't happen, but I'm just
Yeah, the
thinking
boat's sinking. He's on the mast, like laid out, all cool,
yeah.
firing that rifle.
Yep.
So
I'm
sweet.
just picturing like the Mad Max when like the guy blows up and you see the eyeball like right before.
Oh,
it
yeah.
up. That doesn't happen here.
Yeah.
I don't think.
No.
That's
Shark
what I'm
just
picturing.
explodes.
It just explodes into a bunch of chunks. Mm-hmm. And then fish get to eat it. So
That's
good.
good.
Circle of life.
Circle of life.
Yeah, they save the town.
Yeah, Roy Schreider gives like a piece of wood, and then Richard Dreyfuss pops out of nowhere. He's alive! Yay, Richard Dreyfuss!
Yeah.
Did he have to like jump off the boat?
He was stuck in the shark tank. down
Yeah,
the-
I think he
Oh,
has to
right.
he escapes the shark tank and then like I don't know if they show you what happens to him because
No.
they make you think he got eaten.
Yeah.
But
It
then
makes
he
the
pops up at
audience
end
thinks
and
that he's dead.
he's like, nope, I was just hiding.
I was just a coward the whole time. Thanks for killing the shark, buddy.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing all the work for me.
He's just a little professor guy. He wasn't
He had a close
signed up for
encounter,
that.
you know?
And then I feel like
I think he was just
Ooh.
basically in this movie to try and get that boat.
And then I'm trying to remember, do they have like an epilogue scene? Where
No,
it's,
they
like
just,
the
like,
beach next time.
Go off into the sunset. And I'm thinking the whole time, like, there could be another shark behind you. Better pedal fast.
Yeah, I think it's just like credits roll like
Yeah.
right after he blows
And they're
up.
like just clinging
They just
to debris or
Everything's wrapped up.
end
something.
it fast.
Yeah. We got what we wanted. The shark died.
Yeah.
Move on.
Don't linger. Perfect.
I think it is Amityville,
good.
now that you said it.
I think it
I
is.
was saying it in my head. Yeah.
I think it is. It definitely is an A. And
It's
like,
Angel Grove, guys. They same city as the Power
the
Rangers.
putties?
I mean,
Fighting
I'm
the shark?
definitely like picturing like AM and Y in the title somewhere. So that's why I
You
threw
think you're
that out
chasing
there.
Amy still? Andy. They're different movies.
I can't think of anything else.
There's some big-winded dialogue scenes between the family, like Roy Schreider's family.
Yeah,
talking about stuff.
Classic line, like, we're gonna need a bigger boat.
I need a bigger boat.
duh, we got to say that.
Yep.
The old sea captain tells about his war story about all his friends getting eaten by sharks.
Yeah,
Like 200 sharks.
200 sharks?
Like 100 men went into water, 200 sharks into water, and 50 men come out of the water.
yeah. No,
Is
I
this
think
like
you're
a-
right.
Six sharks are
It's from like
eating
the
them.
war or something when he was on a ship that got like
Yeah.
sunk.
Oh my God.
And, yeah,
So we'll see what we got right and what we got wrong
I hope I don't get too scared.
in Jaws. And I hope Andy wets his pants when he sees that dead body come out of that ship.
I'll be prepared for that.
Be prepared to listen to part 2 of Jaws.
Very first light, Chief. Sharks come cruising. So we formed ourselves into tight groups. You know, it's kind of like old squares in a battle, like you see in a calendar, like the Battle of Waterloo. And the idea was, shark comes to the nearest man, that man he start pounding and hollering and screaming. Sometimes the shark would go away. Sometimes he wouldn't go away. Sometimes that shark, he looks right into you, right into your eyes. You know the thing about a shark, he's got lifeless eyes, black eyes, like a doll's eyes. When he comes at you, he doesn't seem to be living until he bites you. And those black eyes roll over white, and then you hear that terrible high-pitched screaming. The ocean turns red, and in spite of all the pounding and the hollering, they all come in, they rip you to pieces. You know, by the end of that first dawn, lost 100 men. I don't know how many sharks, maybe 1,000. I don't know how many men, they average 6 an hour. On Thursday morning, Chief, I bumped into a friend of mine, Herbie Robinson from Cleveland. Baseball player, Bosun's mate. I thought he was asleep. Reached over to wake him up. Bobbed up and down in the water. It was like a kind of top. Upended. Well, he'd been bitten in half below the waist. Noon the 5th day, Mr. Hooper, Lockheed Ventura saw us. He swung in low and he saw us too. A young pilot, a lot younger than Mr. Hooper anyway. He saw us and he come in low, and 3 hours later, a big fat PBY comes down and started to pick us up. You know, that was the time I was most frightened, waiting for my turn. I'll never put on a life jacket again. So 1,100 men went in the war. 316 men come out. The Sharks took the rest June the 29th, 1945.
Welcome back to the We Need a Bigger Podcast. We
There we
watched The Jaws.
The Jaws shark. Mm-hmm. Yeah, is a story of a shark. Mm-hmm. Who ate people.
He ate a bunch of people.
What a hero.
He ate, how many people? 6?
Was it 6? It was a
that
boy.
the total?
It was a girl.
There's the boy, the girl. There was the
guy in
sailing guy.
The guy. He got like the whole group of all of those out of towners that were trying to hunt him.
From the one that he sank.
Remember that?
There's just the one guy.
Yeah.
But Ben something or whatever.
I'd say over 10.
No, you look at like 5. And then Quint, 6.
Well, remember that scene where they're boating? It's Roy Schneider and Richard Dreyfuss, and they come upon like the foggy boat
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, that was just the
One person
That
was
was
in that
supposedly
boat.
one guy.
You don't think like he ate all the other ones?
No, he was literally a guy that Roy Schneider knew. He was mentioned by name. That's Ben Gardner's boat. I think Ben Gardner was the name of the fisherman.
Oh, okay. Okay. So it wasn't out of towners like I thought it was.
No, it was just one guy.
But there were like 4 or 5 boats.
There was a ton of boats, yeah.
Just that one
So
guy.
he took all like what he like roped them together, took them all out there on his own.
I don't think you ever saw Ben Gardner. He just gets mentioned a few times by
I think
Roy
that's
Schneider.
right.
But I'm saying there's like 7 empty boats.
Empty boats.
What are you?
What are you talking about?
You know what? What did I see? Did I see the second one? No, I saw the first one. There,
A bunch of people go out in boats, but there's only one boat that gets
I
destroyed.
thought it was those people though.
Andy watched The Perfect Storm instead. He's like, wait a minute.
I love John C. Reilly.
Mark Wahlberg died.
Oh man, that takes me back. Forgot about that movie.
I never saw that movie.
I rented it for
Blockbuster.
Blockbuster
I definitely
a
watched
while
that
back.
movie.
Yeah, it was like a I don't know fisherman type thing.
Man
Just
versus
get
Sea.
Man versus Wave. And Wave wins.
It's basically one of those movies where everyone's like, don't do it, you'll die. And they're like, we have to do it. And then
Why do they need to
then
do
they,
it?
And then they die.
Because it's the perfect storm.
Because capitalism, Brad. They had to go out and catch those fish. They can't afford to not.
Okay, going back to that scene.
Capitalism's a big part in this movie.
Going back to that scene
That's
because
true.
I'm a little confused. I thought I saw.
A putty cat?
I did. Ta putty cat.
You thought you saw a bunch of boats?
Yeah.
One boat.
It was one boat.
One boat.
It like scrolls around the one boat a couple times.
Did you get the widescreen version?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I watched it real wide.
You
That
did the
didn't matter because
full
I did. That was
ultra
no
wide.
defense.
I watched
I don't know what I saw.
21.9,
I thought I saw
baby.
multiple boats. I must have been looking away. I don't know.
There's not multiple
There was
boats.
just
in that
one boat.
Just the one.
Podcasters out there, you know what I'm talking about. Don't listen to these goons.
Yeah, you just thought you saw something that
Yeah,
you
I
wanted
did.
to see.
It's
Yeah.
okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
I forgot that all of those people go out to try to hunt the shark. There's like a reward placed on it pretty early.
I
into
think
the
I
movie.
made like a leap in my mind because I saw all those guys go out,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
I thought I saw a bunch of boats.
That could
but
be, yeah.
I don't.
I mean,
That's why I thought they were the out of towners because all
this
those
movie-
people were.
This movie moves because we were saying that, like, really it's the last third that you're interested in, but it's the entire last half of this movie is
Yeah.
the three of them on the boat.
It's the last third. I looked at like the time.
It's 2 hours and 10 minutes long.
It is a
40 minutes are the last half of just the three of them on that boat, which out of a 2-hour movie,
It's a lot of.
That's a
I mean,
lot
it's
of
a lot
time.
of time for them to be out there. So this movie, I mean, the lady dies pretty quick. Like 10 seconds later, that kid gets eaten. That's probably the
Yeah,
most
the
gruesome
deaths
death to me.
came real
Is
fast.
the kid on the,
the
raft.
kid with all
Yeah, I
the
forgot
gushing
about how
blood.
the kid just gets
Yeah,
killed,
like he flies up and there's like a fountain of it. I was watching, and I ended up watching the entire Spielberg documentary that Brad mentioned. I think in part one.
I did.
Andy did.
and
'Cause it's amazing.
And one of the featurettes for the making of this one, they were talking about the guy who, when the kids are on the little sailboat and they're like, get out of the water, and because the shark goes into the little bay. Apparently his death was much more gruesome originally, where it was like basically
The stoner guy?
yeah, the
You
stoner
stoner
dude.
adult man?
He basically puts himself between the shark and the kids, and so the shark gets him and pushes him into
the boat?
the kid,
Which you don't see.
The
It's
main
kind of like
kid.
off screen and you're assumed because that boat just kind of falls over.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
the shark grabs him and pushes him, and he basically catches like the deputy or the chief's son, and like is like holding onto him while being eaten by by Jaws, and like his blood's like coming out of his mouth.
Whoa.
And
Then it
Spielberg
getting cut?
says like he was like it was just way too gruesome. He's like I didn't think it made sense in the film. I didn't want people to see that, and so I cut
You see
it.
his leg fall in the
So
ground.
instead, yeah, you just see his leg go down and some blood around it.
That's gruesome enough for the 70s.
But it's like they showed the footage from it, and I was like, that was not that bad. Though its description is pretty bad, but the scene itself, I thought it looked silly almost the way they did it. So I was like,
Did they show you the actual scene, the actual footage?
Yeah, they showed the footage of that. They did cut as a deleted scene.
I would have liked that character to have been built up, though, if his death was supposed to mean something.
Yeah, right. It was like it would have been too of a profound a death for an unnamed character to just like have that happen. Dude was a hero.
Yeah, you said you felt like the movie like kind of moved
It
a little
moves
bit.
pretty
like,
fast early on.
I felt some of it lingered a little bit with the shots.
I was actually going to bring this up. I thought it moved fast, but at the same time, I still felt like some things could just go. Like I was like, I don't need this.
Yeah, there's things you
I
can
don't
cut.
need that. Let's keep going here.
The dock being destroyed, that scene could just
Oh yeah,
not be
that
in
whole
the
thing
movie.
with the dudes, falling down because they threw a roast off a dock. That don't need that at all. I felt like there were like too many scenes involving the chief getting yelled at by the mayor for closing the beach. Like, you obviously need to establish that, but it happens like 5 times. And I was like, 3 was enough.
That's why I remembered it as like a plot element, because it was brought up so many
It
times.
is. It's brought up a lot.
Reinforced a lot. Mm-hmm. Which I guess is understandable. Their entire economy depends on people being in the water.
Yes, yeah.
And there's that interesting scene where he's like forcing that one guy to go into the
Goad people
water.
to go in there.
Yeah. It was funny. I don't know. I think this was in the IMDb trivia, but they mentioned too that shooting this in Martha's Vineyard, they were like, they normally get about 5,000 tourists a year. And like a lot of their industry in the summer does depend on tourism. And the movie came out and suddenly it went to like 15,000 that year that the movie came out in. And I was like, I would have expected less people to show up at that point. Like, I know a lot of people do cite this as being a reason they were afraid of going to the water. And a lot of people were some communities did see decreases, I think, in tourism about it, but not where they shot the movie.
Maybe they just wanted to be a part of like seeing where it happened.
Maybe, yeah.
I think film locations are just popular in general. I know,
Yeah,
like
That's true.
It did look
the Goonies
appealing.
house is notorious. Like, the people in it are just like, they have signs all over it because people will just walk into the Goonie house to take pictures there, and they're like, "This is our house. We live here."
What's the Goonie house? Oh, in the movie, the Goonies.
The movie, yeah.
Oh, okay.
The house
yeah.
for that movie is like a huge spot for big fans of that movie to just go and like check it out. And yeah, like they have people just coming into their house all the time, walking in to take pictures, and they're like, "Like, what do you? This is our real home. Like, you can't just do that."
It's like a weird home invasion.
Yeah, sometimes that's just the way it is. But Spielberg had to film on location. He's like, I need to film on the ocean. It's important.
took him like
and-
half a year to do it.
Yep, and it was super expensive.
Yeah, how successful was he?
I think he didn't have really a future after this, did he? I mean, I don't remember any other film.
Took a risk on a young filmmaker and it didn't pay off. He was only 26 when he made this.
I guess I meant
it's
like how
insane.
successful did the shoot go in the water?
Bad.
It went poorly.
Real bad.
Yeah, they talk about like apparently this was genuinely like the first major motion picture ever to actually film on
In
the
open
ocean.
water?
Yeah, like normally they would do it on a lake or on a tank in a lot, and he was like, no, we have to do it in real water. And he mentioned even the shark they built worked fine in the tank and in lakes, but they had not tested it in salt water, and apparently the salt just destroyed the innards immediately.
Oh, that's
And
why
that's
they...
one of the big reasons it took so long to get the shark to work was simply because they built it for fresh water and then shot in the ocean.
That makes sense why the cage shot seems so good, because that has to be in a tank, because it's just shot.
That's a real
The
shark.
cage shot is a real shot with a real shark from Australia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They hired some nature documentarians down in Australia to shoot a bunch of footage of sharks, and they had a little person and a mannequin that they put in a little miniature scale cage and threw it in the water and had like sharks swim around it
Oh.
to make it look like it was the huge
So
jaw
it was
shark.
like
So
a
they-
little baby shark that attacked that cage?
It was a regular sized great white, but yeah, and when it actually attacks that
makes
cage, that
sense.
was like unplanned. It got like snagged on the cable or something, and this shark just destroyed the cage,
Oh.
thrashing around. And they were like, "This footage is so good." And
Wow, they
were
must
right.
have made a bunch of money off that footage.
Yeah, it was pretty nuts hearing about like how all the different steps that went into filming this. And I mean, and Spielberg himself acknowledges he's like, this movie basically gave me like my entire career. He's like,
Oh, without a doubt.
He was like, I had a free hand after basically his second major movie to do whatever movie he wanted for basically any budget. He's like, this movie made my entire career, and I had complete freedom after this to do whatever. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, he used it well. He made a lot.
I don't know if it was a Steven Spielberg. There was a scene in there where George Lucas was talking about he had heard that Steven Spielberg's movie Duel was coming on TV, and he was like at a party, and he was like, oh yeah, maybe I'll go check it out at one point. And then like he was like, I actually didn't even like go back to the party. I just watched the entire movie because I was just like, this guy knows what he's doing. This guy knows how to do it. And he was like super fascinated by his ability just to shoot things in a way that looks like compelling.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's
keeps
just
your focus.
if he just has such a really good eye, but like this movie really does, I think, feel different from so many other films up until this point in time. Like, I think it's shot perfectly. It's
He knows how
technically
to frame an image.
It's technically really well made. This whole film works so well, and especially, I mean, considering the fact that they were writing the script as they were filming. Their shark kept breaking. They're trying to shoot on the water, which doesn't work half the time. It rained for like half of production, so they had to wait. And I'm like, and yet they still managed to salvage like an incredible movie out of this. The movie's so good.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
that's so grueling too. To
Oh my gosh,
shoot
yeah.
a movie.
I can't imagine being on this production. It sounds like a nightmare every day.
Didn't people almost drown during making this?
I've definitely heard that. It didn't come up in any of the things I watched or anything, but I mean, it sounds like it was just brutal in general, especially like trying to film from one boat to another boat. Also meant that they had to shoot everything handheld because you can't put a tripod on a boat. You're just going up and down the whole time. And
The logistics seems
Oh
so
my gosh.
difficult.
Yeah.
Lighting it,
loading all
doing
your
audio.
Yeah, all your film gear onto boats that were not designed for filming.
Taking
They're
care of
just
like
other fishing
bathroom
boats.
breaks and stuff for the crew and cast.
Yeah,
Like, that has to
kinda,
be so
like,
scheduled out.
Yeah.
But before this movie came out before the Steadicam too, so like you can't really use that at all.
Yeah.
You do get some of the bouncing of the water, which is obvious, as like you get like long shots of Roy Schneider and everything.
Yeah.
You get some motion sickness.
I do think the main three cast are just so well done for this movie. I think the three of them were really good choices for their roles, and I think their chemistry together worked really well, which is just really interesting. Like, I guess this was like Richard Dreyfuss's like second major movie. Or, like,
yeah.
he was still brand new, and like from my
Yeah, he was
understanding,
like 27, I think. In
yeah,
that movie.
like he got the job because
26.
he did American Graffiti with Lucas, and Lucas told Spielberg, "Hey, you should hire that guy." And
Yeah.
like he's really good as the nerd from the college, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know, everything about this, I loved it.
And Robert Shaw was a very established actor. I didn't
Yes,
really know too much
he
of like
was.
what he was from, but people in 1974 like knew that he was a giant star doing this thing.
Yep.
Do you
And he nailed
do you
it.
know any other things that he was in?
So you have to look him up.
I
Sure.
don't know him, but
Yeah.
I mean, Dreyfuss talks about how like he didn't really get along with Shaw that much, but it also sounds like a lot of the crew had trouble with him because he was also like a big alcoholic at the time. So they was basically like when he was sober, he was great to work with, but when he wasn't, it was a big problem. But like Dreyfuss when like at Shaw's because he died like just a couple years after this movie came out.
Okay.
And like he went to his funeral and like told his kids like it was such an honor working with your dad and like this is incredible. Like we had friction on set, but he was just an incredible actor.
I wonder how much of that was Richard Dreyfuss too, because I kind
That's
of went
true, too.
I went
That's true,
digging
too.
a little bit, and I saw and read that Richard Dreyfuss had a cocaine problem.
Yeah.
like in the late 70s, and like had to check himself into rehab after he got into a major car accident.
Oh, man.
in like 1981 or something like that.
A Man for All Seasons, The Sting, From Russia with Love,
He's in The Sting.
Black Sunday, The Swashbuckler. He was in a bunch of 70s piratey action films.
Sounds like a good career. Those,
Yeah.
so I knew some of those movies.
Yeah, 65 acting credits for Robert Shaw.
Yes, it seems like he died pretty young.
Yeah. He was like 51, I think, when he died.
Wow.
Did he get eaten by a shark? Is that how, did he die?
Of course, yeah, he died
Yeah,
filming.
that's
he died
confirmed
filming this movie.
Wikipedia.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
geez.
just true. That just happened. They used the take at least.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna have it in the film,
Yeah, it worked.
Yeah.
So Brad, what's your feeling on this movie? I feel like you love this movie.
I've got a lot of notes on the
Ooh,
Jaws.
I would love to hear
Yeah.
that, please.
Let's see what I have. Here.
Let's tell Spielberg
Oh,
what
there was a
is
split
up.
diopter shot.
There was.
one.
I noticed
there was
it.
one single split diopter.
I thought I noticed it too. What was it?
There was a lady playing in the background of a shot that like looks like she gets taken out by a shark when some like old broad is talking to Brody on the beach,
yeah.
and it's just like she's in the background, like Brody's attention keeps on getting changed off.
And that shot too, with like all the people passing by and using that as like a cut.
Yeah.
It's so seamless. It's
He
so,
talked about that in the documentary. Like that was just like something they thought of on the day. They were like, "This is an easy way to just like let us move the shot around back and forth, so it's from his perspective." But he was like, "That really hadn't been done before." It seems like such a seamless like cut kind of technique. But
He does that. He does that big old reverse dolly shot.
oh my
I
gosh,
feel like that's
what a
like-
good one!
There's like
The vertigo.
4 or 5 like iconic shots in Jaws.
Yes, that one is so good.
yeah. So it'd be
The other one where he's like chumming the shark and like the
Yep,
shark
and the
appears
shark
and,
pops
like,
out.
It's very obvious.
Yeah.
maybe even like the jump scare with the guy's like head popping out.
Yeah,
dude.
That didn't look that great. It did spook me a bit.
It scared the
It
crap
spooked
out of me as a
me.
kid.
Gave me a
I
little bit
kind
of
of
a
jumped
spook.
a little bit.
But it was like, oh, that's
I
just
knew it was
that
coming,
looks kinda
too.
stupid.
Oh man, I remember as a kid that scene just like wrecked
Yeah.
me. I was like, no.
And Richard Dreyfuss, Mr. Butterfingers.
Oh, what
can't
a
hold on to
goofball.
anything. Drops his shark tooth, drops his flashlight, then later he drops his harpoon.
Yeah, he's dropping
is
everything.
what is going
He drops
on?
the shark
He literally
cage.
dropped everything.
Yeah.
He needs to get in touch with the sticky bandits.
There should have been scenes like throughout the movie where like they're throwing Richard Dreyfuss like keys and he's like can't catch them kind of
Fumbling.
stuff.
I do like that's a great idea.
I think there was one scene where someone threw him something and he caught it. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Where's the realism?
Yeah.
It'd be
what the
really
heck?
clumsy.
ridiculous.
I really like the shot on the beach. The first, like, they want to close it down, but they're opening it, but no one wants to go swimming. And there's just, like, so many people. There's so
Yeah.
many extras in this film.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah. You're
I'm
talking
like,
about
oh my God, look at all these people.
Yeah,
the scene where he's like trying to force someone to go into the water.
Yeah.
You see like hundreds and hundreds, maybe thousands.
Yeah,
I
those
don't
were all
know.
actual residents of the Sound, and they were like paid them like $60 to be down there for the day. And they were saying
Jeez.
too that
$60.
I guess the water there too is like really cold when they were
Yeah.
shooting. Like it was not. It's summer, but that water doesn't warm up until like late August.
I would assume they shot in, like,
And
the off
so
season.
they were
of
like
whatever
all these
they
people
were.
are out there in the water for this shot and just freezing, and then they had to like on a megaphone be like, okay, so there's a shark. Just pretend like a shark just ate somebody, and now you're all gonna panic, and everybody go, and everyone just
Is that your
screams.
Spielberg impression?
Yes. So everyone just starts
Steven
running into
Spielberg.
sharks.
He's always talking through a microphone.
This is how I talk when I'm on a microphone. Please, one of the ADs took care of that part, Brad. He's too busy to handle the megaphone stuff.
Probably.
Oh, man.
You're right about Roy Schreider being afraid of the water.
Yeah.
Okay,
mentioned
okay.
a few times.
But why? That didn't
They
seem to
didn't
really,
really explain it.
play an actual role in it.
Yeah.
Because, like, I mean, he just says, like, I'm afraid of
they
the
just
water,
bring
and then
it
he
up.
finds himself, like, on the boat for the rest of the movie.
He's actually from New York City, so they're like city people.
Yeah, he was
But-
like an
Did he have a
NYPD cop.
backstory where, like, maybe he almost drowned one time?
I don't know. Like, I feel like there was something that just maybe got cut because they didn't. They were like, we're already
that's
too busy
probably
in this or
true.
something. But Brad, you read the book.
I read the book of Jaws.
You read the book.
And you brought it.
Yeah.
Can
I
you
brought
enlighten us?
So the Jaws was written a few years before the movie came out. I think it was 1973.
It was it had only just released and was on the bestseller list when they started making the movie. Like, so it was pretty not a lot of time between the two.
Yeah, it sold pretty fast. And
Yeah.
74.
the writer Peter Benchley got his hand at doing the first draft of the script. Jaws.
Yeah, he got first draft rights.
It's pretty neat. There's a lot of horned up imagery. I'm going to say that horny. It's a lot of horniness happening in Jaws.
Oh, man.
One of the first things they do when Brody wakes up is they describe his erection because he had like a sexy dream that night. So now every time I see Jaws the movie, I know that Roy Schreider is sporting wood.
Yeah,
He's got a boner.
He's
He's got a big old bone dog in that
Bone dog?
Oh,
He's going to the boneyard?
Yeah. A lot of 70s language.
Did that play a factor? The boneyard?
His big boneyard?
Yeah.
The movie
just described it.
The movie is like sexed up for some reason. They describe like perky boobs.
The book is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they get into it. I'll get into it in a second. And then there's a constantly like the beaches being closed down is like hammered home like so many times. And I think Roy Schreider's like guilt is played up more in the book of like he could have done something. And then in this movie, like it is kind of thrown at him that the mom of the kid like slaps him in the face, which does happen in the book.
Yeah.
But I think he like, feels more guilt in the book about like so there's so much pressure on him to like shut the beaches down from Vaughn, who is the mayor. And the reason they don't get into the movie that Vaughn wants the beaches open so much is because the mafia, he owes them money.
Oh my god.
And it's all like built up into the property rentals of the establishments of the beach. And if he can't get those things open, he is going to be
That's interesting.
wearing those stone slippers.
Oh man, see, I think it's so much. It's so much like more like scary almost when it's not even like when it's not that when it's just him being like, we want our businesses to make money. I feel like that's that much more evil than like at least in the book he's like, oh man, his life may be at stake if they don't open this beach. I get it.
Yeah.
But in the movie,
It's
it's,
really
like
pressuring him.
no, he wants people to go in there and potentially get eaten by a shark just because they're like, well, I don't want to ruin the summer.
Yeah, exactly. He's kind of thinking about his political future too, I bet.
yeah.
Brody's wife Ellen is a bigger part in the book. When Hooper comes to town, they know each other and they begin to like flirt and like have like a romance.
I heard about that in one of the trivia things. I think somewhere mentioned this.
And they even go off and have an affair.
Yeah.
In the middle of Jaws?
Yes. There's Jaws. The book is broken up into 3 parts. The second part of the book starts with them like on their, I guess what do I might call like a tryst? Is that like their
Okay,
affair?
yeah.
You know, they go out and just like meet at a hotel and just like they exchange like sex fantasies.
Turns into Mrs. Robinson,
Yeah.
or whatever it's called, The Graduate.
Yeah, and we're gonna go probably get a little bit dirty for the Patreons because I've been promising go a little sexy for Patreon supporters. So this part is for them only.
Did you guys feel like the shark got bigger, smaller? Like it kind of, you know how like in movies, like the shark
scale kinda
size
weird.
kind of shifts a little bit.
Cloverfield scale.
I didn't notice that too much. I'm gonna actually say, I'm gonna say actually.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't really care.
No, yeah, I
I think
felt
they did a
fine.
pretty good job.
CG
of
can screw
having
that up
some-
sometimes. And you're like, why
CG
does
can
that
I
happen?
definitely
think
screw
CG
that
is
up.
the problem.
You guys control that. What is your deal, CG?
Not understanding scale, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, oh my gosh. I mean, we saw Independence Day, The Resurgening.
Independence Stray.
Independence Day.
Starring Dr. Dre.
Beats by Independence Day, The Resurgening. And that movie was one of the worst offenders where they had like the enormous queen alien at the end, but then at one
Yeah.
point it's like small enough to like have a face to face with someone on the bus. It was the worst thing oh my
Original
gosh.
Cloverfield is responsible for
So
that too.
it is, yeah. The
You
original
get some
Cloverfield
scenes where you're
really
like,
gets
this thing
some-
looks smaller
it's
now.
the size of
This thing
skyscrapers,
looks
but yeah,
bigger.
then it's like crouching down and it's like,
You're
oh,
like,
okay.
wait,
it's-
why is this giant thing just hunting two tiny humans? That's
Yeah.
like me chasing after two ants.
Yep.
Like, what is that? No.
Yeah, what do you care?
Yeah,
Could be
what
a
do I
problem,
care?
yeah.
What's the purpose?
Yeah.
A few more things in the book, the ending in particular. Quint has a dolphin fetus that he uses to lure the shark in.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
That's
Do
something.
you need that?
He's got like this.
Special chum.
Him and Hooper
dolphin
have this like
fetus.
fight over the ethical nature of having
yeah,
this
of
thing.
course.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
But that's like they're like that's how they end up getting the jaws to come out. And, like,
What a
follow
strange
them.
book.
It's like, oh, you got me a dolphin fetus.
delicious.
This is the first time you get to hear my voice.
They're constantly trying to catch the shark with like squids and baits, and they come home a lot more in the book. It's almost like anticlimactic the way they just like keep coming back. This takes over like 7 days. They're looking for the shark, and they go through like each day like what happens, and some days just nothing happens.
Oh man, that makes sense. They talked about it in one of the documentaries when they were shooting the movie that part of the reason they wanted to film on the actual ocean, not in a tank or something, was that he didn't want land to be visible because he's like, if you can see the land, it just feels less suspenseful. You're like, oh, if things get bad, they can just turn around and go back. He's like, I need them to feel like they're in the middle of nowhere, so it's them and the shark, and that's it.
They are very often by the land in the book.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean,
a couple. I mean, I love the movie. But a couple.
Do you like this movie?
did you love the movie?
No.
Okay, fair enough.
I do.
Do not like this movie.
No, I don't. To
No,
that.
I do not like
Does
this.
it not like?
No, I said I don't
the
to what
movie.
you said.
Oh, okay.
He didn't
It
not
makes it a
say that he
positive?
doesn't like the movie.
You came back positive? Oh no.
Well, of what? though?
Of liking Jaws, I guess.
Well, leave that a secret.
Yeah.
No, but a couple like thoughts that I was having is like number one, if this shark is 25 feet, I don't know how big a giant orca whale is. Maybe much more bigger, but like the shark is risking like beaching itself in a way too by coming that close to shore. Sometimes, like
Yeah.
it gets that boy on the raft, but he's only like maybe 15 feet out or so.
He's much
20
further
feet
out
out.
in the book, yeah. But
Yeah.
For
So like the shark is.
Was there?
And I know this happens, and this has happened for sure, but like this shark is supposed to be huge.
They talked about one of the weird occurrences after the movie came out was they had like some like whale beached itself or something, and people thought it was a shark, so they went and like beat it.
Yeah.
Oh,
on the
no.
beach. They were just
Oh
like,
my
fight
God.
the whale.
Oh my god.
And it's like, what? Okay.
Have you heard of whales exploding too?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a thing.
very gross.
And my other thought too is that the shark is eating a lot.
Yeah.
Like how many people can the shark eat in like a day?
a bunch.
You think so?
Yeah.
Like, do you
not
think
eating
like
them
the
whole,
shark
it's just
at
taking
some
them, like,
point
big
is like,
chunks.
I'm full, like fuck this,
I don't think so.
goes home?
Well, I mean,
The
he
shark's
kinda
like
does
6,000
that-
pounds.
He kind of does it in the one attack because he eats he eats the kid on the raft and then he swims in the bay and eats the dude that was on the sailboat and then he's like, I'm good, and swims.
I think there are a lot of like
Sure,
animals in the
sure.
wild.
I guess I'm saying I don't know how many days are passing.
Yeah.
It feels like like a couple weeks have passed, but maybe it's
Well,
the
we
entire
get to
summer.
July 4th, so and it
That's
starts
true.
like before that, so
Yeah.
it's at least like a week and a half.
We were trying to
So
figure out
this
part
seemed
one if there was
he's eaten
specific
6
like,
people in a week and a
festival.
half.
Oh, we
That
do.
seems like not a lot.
How many sharks have you seen that have eaten people like 6 people?
Well,
in, like,
I'm just saying its caloric intake
I've
is
known
probably
a
pretty
lot
high.
of sharks that ate like.
I don't
6
think it's going to
in a
eat
day.
people, but I think it's going to eat a lot of stuff.
like have you heard of like 6 shark attacks in like 3 months on one beach?
Not that I've heard
Or
of
2 weeks maybe.
I mean, there was a really funny.
it's maybe I'm being a little.
There was a funny piece
I
of
think.
trivia where apparently, basically, this entire movie almost actually played itself out at a resort in like
New Jersey in
the-
1912. That's like one of
I
the
think
bases of one
I
of
think I
these.
heard
No,
about
this
that.
was after the movie came out. This was in the Middle East in one of the Gulf countries there. It was like at a resort that, like some shark came in and was attacking people on the beach. So they shut down the beach, but then the people who own the resort were like, no, we have to have the beaches open. So they reopened it and more people got attacked. And like they sent out people to kill the shark and they couldn't find it. Like it was literally the whole movie.
What?
They were like, they learned all the wrong lessons from this movie, I guess. They
Oh
did
my
it-
god! I guess okay.
And
I guess
in
it
the end, they
happens.
did not kill the shark. It just left.
Right,
That
which
was
is
it,
what I
but-
would.
I feel like the shark
thought
would
would
have
happen.
eventually left.
Yeah,
but-
that's in real life,
I
that's
thought,
what
like,
happened, apparently.
Which I know, I haven't seen any of the other ones, but I know, like in later Jaws, the shark has like a vendetta.
The
against-
revenge.
yeah.
The revenge. It's like
Jaws the Revenge.
It comes after
so
the mom.
it's smart enough to know who it's looking for. It's like a hunting people.
Yeah. I think Deep Blue has the
Yeah.
Shark Revenge as well.
Well,
where it's
they're,
like they
no.
kill
they're
them.
purposely smart. They make
Yeah,
they,
that's true.
they enlarge the brains of those sharks.
You're right.
No, I forgot about that.
The book tries to emphasize that it is just an animal. It doesn't really like have. It doesn't know what it's doing.
Yeah.
and it's just kind of like a random chance that
It's
this
just-
shark
it's-
wandered here and
just
this
a
started
creature.
happening. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, okay. I guess it can happen.
yeah. I mean, sharks gonna eat, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sharks get big. This is a 6,000-pound shark. If it's a 20-foot long shark,
Yeah. Didn't they?
3 tons.
Yeah, you did say 3 tons.
That's
yeah.
a big old. That's got to eat a lot of food.
Yeah.
all the time,
Right.
constantly eating.
And freaking, they were gonna try and catch it with that fishing pole. Come on, guys.
I know. Yeah, that was never going to happen.
No.
It took them like the 4 barrels, and that didn't even work, too.
We weren't clear in part 1 about what happened to Richard Dreyfuss when he goes in the cage.
He just falls to the bottom of the ocean.
He just hides. Yeah,
Yeah.
he does hide.
So the thing like bashed the cage open, and then he slipped down, like...
But yeah, he just hit on like the ocean floor basically.
In
And
the
Oh,
book, he
'cause
gets
the-
eaten. It makes more sense.
He gets eaten?
yeah.
Oh. Does Robert Shaw get eaten, too?
He doesn't get eaten. He drowns.
yeah, he gets pulled down like a rope gets caught on his leg
Yeah,
or
he gets
something.
pulled down on a rope.
Yeah.
and then
no.
the shark just gets wounded enough where it just dies as well. There's no like big. Scene.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's supposed to be like charging at him and just dies before it gets to.
yeah.
to-
It's just
yeah.
like they've wounded it so badly that it just dies.
Well,
Because it is just a shark. It's not a killer. It's not
Yeah,
like a
it's not I will
say-
supernatural monster.
in that regard, then the movie has a better ending.
Oh yeah, you cheer for that
Yeah,
ending.
definitely.
You want to see that shark
Yeah.
go kaboom.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, That's the
definitely.
best part.
But there's a thing out there where everyone's like, well, movies usually end with explosions, and I guess this one does that.
That is
There you go.
very true.
It worked though. This movie's great.
Yeah.
I like
yeah.
the- I like
and it
the
did wrap
fishing.
up like really fast.
I like learning
Yeah.
about boats. That's fun.
It was
Yeah.
yeah.
I want to, get like backdoor taught about stuff in movies. Trick me into learning something.
There you go.
Teach me how to tie a knot.
Apparently,
I was gonna say that.
Teach me where
yeah, yeah,
starboard
yeah.
is.
I was
movie.
like, I was watching him make that knot, and I was like, I don't even know what he's talking about. I barely know how to make more than one knot, I think.
pepper some education into my movies.
Yeah. Apparently that happened on set actually. Basically they were like putting all the stuff on the boats getting ready to go out and some local dude kept yelling at them because they're all doing it wrong and so they just hired him to teach them all how to
That's
do
funny.
the boat stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
I was like, that's pretty
Get
great.
it right.
Yeah.
I've got a big bombshell, guys.
Oh
boy.
no!
I'm working on a think piece. Jaws is analogous to COVID.
No, it absolutely is.
Okay, you're gonna have to convince me. You're gonna
It
have
was
to convince
timely.
me.
This movie is timely right now.
Think about it. They're shutting down.
They're shutting down the beach, but they're
beaches.
worried about the
The
economy.
economy is suffering.
The mayor's afraid for his re-election chances if they ruins the economy by closing the beach.
They keep
true.
opening and closing it based on
They
like
open it,
new
people
data and
die,
things
so then
happening.
they close it again. It's crazy.
Well,
And then just think about it. Then they load people in a boat and go out to kill it. That's basically what happened.
They're trying to. They're trying to get the vaccine to go kill that Jaws
The
shark.
CDC are the guys in the boat.
I mean, yeah, I will grant you that the same responses are happening for
Yeah,
sure.
it's
for
funny.
sure.
I had the same thought watching this movie.
Oh man, that makes sense. I can see that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to like a lot more connections. There's a line in the book where Ellen talks about how she would trade any of her futures for one day of her past.
Wow.
And I was like, that's COVID! That's COVID! This Jaws is COVID!
Oh boy.
Oh no.
Everyone's backing out of their leases on the beach. No one's,
Oh, yeah,
wanting
there
to
you
go
go.
in there. People are refusing the no swim policy, at least in the book. They like kept trying to go out to the water.
Oh,
and like
dang.
Brody's like, don't do it! They just keep, oh, it's COVID! You idiots!
I
man.
can see how you're making those connections.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Brutal. See, lessons to be
I
learned.
think
Richard Dreyfuss is Dr. Fauci. Roy
Okay,
Schreiber
let's
are
go
the
a little above and
governors.
beyond now. This is turned into a conspiracy theory. Are you saying Steven Spielberg knew about COVID?
Yes.
Wow, this is all his
And
fault.
he's friends with Bill Gates?
Oh, wow.
Robert Shaw is Big Pharma.
Goes further.
Going out there trying to get that
Big
shark.
shawarma.
He is. I'll do it, but you're going to have to pay me.
Read my BuzzFeed article 2 weeks from this podcast.
Oh, no. This is
7 ways Jaws is like COVID. So in the back of the Jaws book, I thought this was pretty interesting. Here's a
Give us a
note
reading.
that Peter Benchley got back from one of the producers of Jaws after he turned in his first draft.
Oh, can I guess?
And then another draft came back, and he was like, I've got problems with this draft dog.
Did he say there's not enough COVID in here?
He probably said there's not enough sexy stuff in here.
Pretty
Gotta
much.
sex up the movie.
Sex it.
Oh, so his
Sex it down.
There's quite a few. I'm going to go through all of them just because it's fun. On page 13, Meadows' speech about sharks and their swim bladders is wrong. He's mixing apples and oranges, and he compounds the felony by saying, "Don't you know anything about them?" Sure. Shark knowledge. Peter Benchley wants the sharks to be accurate. Page 40, Hooper would never be suckered into believing that a 10-foot blue shark killed those people. Never. Never, ever. Because
Wait.
Richard Dreyfuss does say, like, I don't know if it's that shark, it could be, but I don't know.
Are these his notes on the script or
Yes.
the finished movie?
The script.
Okay, I see.
Brody seems to be disbelieving the blue shark theory. When did he change his mind? Yeah, that is at what point when he saw the license plate? I don't
No,
really know.
that scene was kind of weird because when he's talking to the other fisherman, he just sort of seems lightly skeptical. But then when
did,
he like pulls
yeah.
the chief aside and he's just like, "That's not the shark." He's like straight up like, "That is not the shark." So it is sort of a weird.
I didn't see him buy
0 to
into it
60,
from the beginning.
but-
he was like smiling and everything, but I think he was putting
He
on
was kind of
putting
putting on a show a little
face
bit.
and-
Yeah, I think you're right.
Hooper says of the shark, it knows where you live. He is anthropomorphizing something that he would be the first to argue against.
Ooh, that's a good note.
Damn.
Yeah. What suddenly changes Brody from a man terrified of the water to a man eager to join Quint?
There you go. That's a good question.
I remember discussing this change of heart at great length with you. It seems to have resolved by ignoring it.
Oh
Wow.
He sounds a
This
little
guy is
upset
a
with the
little-
script. A little upset about this.
He's got some rights on this script.
They did say that like they actually sold the movie rights for like a kind of a low amount to this movie. They were like, well, we could have gotten more for it.
I see that you're still using the billboard. I feebly repeat that it is way out of character for the town to be advertising this 4th of July thing.
What?
Okay, sure.
Why?
It seems weird.
Wouldn't they be advertising that?
Oh, so on the note of the town, you got to give Andy over here some credit. It is called Amity.
I said Amityville.
It is.
It
But-
is Amity.
Oh, the
was
mayor
close.
from this movie is in the Amityville Horror.
All right, I was right.
He's in it, like
Yeah,
3
I
years
was right.
later.
Connected. It's all canon.
I was right.
He
It's all
shows up
one
in that
canon.
one for some reason.
Did
There
he
you
get
go.
COVID?
He got bit by that shark,
Oh,
maybe.
he did.
boy.
Okay. It's the same.
Someone named Den Herder makes a reference to sporting charters on Valentine's Day. I have no idea who on earth in the East Coast would go fishing on February 14th.
That's a good point.
For among other reasons, there are no game fish on February 14th.
And also, it's cold.
Damn. That's a good
It's
note.
got a good note.
Brody says, but nobody sport fishes for sharks. If this is intended to make him seem stupid, it succeeds. If it is meant as a fact, it is wrong.
He's got some salt going with this script here, man.
He was bitter.
This is a fun note. If Hooper is a diver, he's unlikely to be bearded. Beards get in the way. Bearded divers exist, of course, but why even raise the question in the audience's mind?
It's
Because
not
people,
a question.
a lot of people
Nobody
wore
had that.
beards in the 70s.
I am a
Nobody
bearded
has that.
diver, and it's not that bad.
This I admit is a nit, but I'll pick it anyway. Here on the following page, it is clear that Steve doesn't know guns. Fine. I assume there will be someone on location who will know that, for instance, a .30 caliber rifle doesn't fire a wad and couldn't ruin rigging. Okay, sure.
Fair enough.
Was that the reference to like the little?
I think he like shoots
Handgun?
rope or something.
I mean, yeah, that is. Those are weird references to
Yeah.
like firing a wad is like referencing like cannons or muskets or something. That's like a weird term to
Like a
use.
duck shot or something, or
Sort of. It'd be like they would literally cram like stuff down the barrel of cannons to like to fire at like sails and shred them.
oh, I see.
His final notes here. There you have it. I am aware that, number 1, film is a director's medium. Number 2, my part in the entertainment has long since technically ended. And number 3, you may well decide to make this letter into paper airplane and skim it off the top of the tower. But I did want to convey these points, if only to vent my spleen. As I said, and said, and said, I would be willing, nay eager, to meet and work with Steve. Should be helpful. Peter Benchley.
This guy really wants to be a part of this movie, and he is so angry that
it's
they
his
keep
book.
rejecting him.
Yeah, his
Yeah.
notes when first writing the script were take out the romances and take out the mafia. And those are the two things that happened.
Yep.
That was his note.
That was the producer's notes
Oh, the
for his
producer-
first draft
I
of
see.
the script.
I see.
Yeah, the guy who one of the dudes with the mayor in the movie is actually the guy who essentially wrote the screenplay. Like they brought it like he's a actor and writer.
Yeah.
And so they brought him in to do both. They brought him in as like someone to be in the film as well as rewrite it on set basically as they were filming it.
Do you think maybe some of those guys that were rolling with the mayor when they hopped on that little like ferry boat were those maybe some mafia people?
Yeah, maybe.
Could have been.
Could be alluded to.
Could have been because there were like five of them.
I mean, one of them's the coroner because they basically
That's
bully
true.
the coroner to change his report.
Yeah,
But,
yeah. I
I
never
don't
thought of them as mafia when I was watching it. I thought they might have just been like political
Chamber
like,
of Commerce guys,
help,
yeah.
people helping them out. Like I don't know.
I assume they're like the town council because like when they go into like the little town council room and they all like have their own seat basically there.
Yeah,
They do explore it more in the book. I wish we got to see a little more of Amity, like the town of just like him like having an average police day maybe before a shark killing or something like
I
that.
would have.
Yeah.
I agree. I would have liked that as opposed to some of the other stuff they did show us before they go out on the boat. There were
yeah.
scenes
You don't
there
really
where I'm
get like any backstory for the main character.
Also, the town should be like extremely sparse before like the big rush of people come in. So it would be nice to see like a handful of people in the shop, and then all of a sudden like the town explodes, and they really need to like put these people somewhere.
Then it becomes a
Yeah.
big problem. Yeah.
Or,
Yeah,
like,
yeah, It like builds up. It would build up more.
Yeah.
right, or like that's when when the mayor is initially could be like fine, we'll close the beach, but obviously not once the festival starts. They have like only a couple of days. That's when all the people get out on the boats to go get it, and then like the festival starts and they have to open them, and now it's packed and it's huge. Like I would like that because it does seem like the town itself seems to be really packing that beach on its own even.
Yeah. Which is not the case. Those are supposed to be
And-
like mostly out of towners.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good idea. I like that. See, why did they have Steve do this movie? They should have had us do this movie.
Oh my god.
Steve did not know what he was doing.
I wouldn't want to spend
He's never
3
done anything
days
that's
on the
worked
water.
out.
Yeah.
Ever.
I think they said they went twice their shooting schedule. He was like, "We'll shoot this in 50 days." It took him almost like 120 or something.
Ugh.
He was like, "Yeah, that was no."
Unless you
I
give me
was
a yacht to be out there, I'm not going. I'll shoot all the land stuff.
I think it
4
was
months on the water?
double the shooting schedule and double the budget that they were originally given.
Just for like
But
the
it made
last
5 times its
40
budget
minutes?
back or something. So
It looks incredible compared to other movies that are supposed to be like shot in the water or like shot with like monsters or sharks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the time.
Yeah, it's
a really bad
convincing. I was
70s
thinking about
films.
that too as it was wrapping up. I was like, this is literally a disaster movie if you think about it. Like it feels like those type of movies.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some out there that are just not that good. Like Towering Inferno it's not that good.
yeah.
It's just like an adventure type movie, but this one manages to make it work really, really well.
Yeah. I feel like our only consensus here is that Steven Spielberg's pretty good at making movies. Which,
Yeah, he seems
I
all
think
right.
so.
If you're going to tune in this podcast, you're coming for the hot takes like that.
It's not that hot.
Are you sure?
Thank you for joining us on that episode and every episode. The next movie we're doing has the tagline, Big Trouble, Small Soldiers. We remember small soldiers.
Globotech Defense System. In a secret lab, the world's most advanced military microprocessor has been created. But the Cold War is over. For Globotech to survive, new markets must be found. Now, all that power has been placed into the brain of a fighting machine unlike any known to man. They made it strong. They made it clever. They made it small. They made a mistake.
Major Chip Hazard reporting for duty, sir.
Wow, voice activated.
Commandos, 10 Tail dog, soldiers. Rick Bazooka, ready to spring into action.
Butch Meathook, prepared to go to distance.
Big Nitro, demolition.
Kip Killigan, sharp as a razor. You are the best of the best.
Heartland Play Systems. I'm having some trouble with the Commando Elite. It's like they're alive.
Let's roll some armor. We got us a war to win.
The few.
We have met the enemy. He is big. He is fat. Yeah.
The proud.
He has revealed a weakness.
Alan, please, you have to help.
Major Chip Hazard wants a war. We'll give him a war.
The small.
Who you calling small?
This summer,
Babes at 12 o'clock.
join the Commando Elite.
Gentlemen, those are reinforcements. Commandos, attack! No mercy!
Small soldiers.
Command post to Brick Bazooka, report.
It's just a flesh wound, sir.
You have to be crazy not to be scared.